projection.
Welcome everybody to Taking on Sports, the world's premier sports podcast here on the Alabama Take Podcast Network. Greg, how you doing this week?
I am good. How are you today, sir?
I'm all right. I'm pretty good. Yeah, let's hop right into it, man. Yesterday was yet another fun day in college football, man. We're good season so far. We'll start with our boys in crimson here. Alabama, big win over UL Monroe, avenging that loss from 15 years ago.
Exactly.
Let's see, 63-7 final score. Defense and special teams scored, 3 touchdowns? Big day for them. Offense looked maybe a little sluggish still. It was hard to get going early on. They went, they scored that first touchdown, then we had the pick six, and then the punt block touchdown. So they went a while without playing, so maybe it's hard to get in a rhythm. But, it looks like to me, offense is still waiting for somebody else besides Jahmyr Gibbs to emerge as a playmaker, and Bryce, obviously. But, Bryce needs some more help. So, yeah, what do you think about it?
The offense does seem a little stagnant at times. But they definitely looked, of course, a lot better this week. Playing UL Monroe. Got the ball out more. I like what Gibbs did. I thought he had some great runs there. The late touchdown as well on that fourth down run. But still some questions there. But I just think it's a matter of them just gelling at this point. I think we are who we are, and I think they're just going to get better as the season continues there. But I think today looked a lot more, and then maybe more the opponent, but they looked a lot more crisp, a lot smoother than what they did, even from week one, I'd say, especially in the second half.
For sure, yeah. Like I said, I think I tweeted at some point yesterday that, if this Gibbs looks like the only guy really dangerous out there so far, and if this was like a Lane Kiffin offense, he'd be getting 37 touches a game or something.
Super ridiculous. I think the main thing most people have said and seen is that we're just missing a guy over that top that's going to blow the defense over the top. It's not there. I can't think of a name. The transfer from Louisville is supposed to be that guy, and he's supposed to be back at or before the Arkansas game. So we'll see what transpires with that. But I think that's just our main thing. We have, I think, a lot of good possession receivers, but just not a dynamic that we've had, the last 4 or 5 years there. So.
All right. Well, next we'll move on to the defending champs, Georgia. Another blowout win for them. They beat the hell out of South Carolina. They're looking good, maybe even better than last year so far. Offense is clicking. Defense looks like they're not missing a beat despite all the players they lost. I guess my question to you is this kind of maybe going to be similar to last year, though, where when they run their first real good team, they might get housed like they did in the SEC title game last year? Their first test isn't until the cocktail party on October 29th. And then we don't know how much of a test that'll actually be with Florida. But so what do you say? Is Georgia really that good, or are we not going to know 100% until they play a much better team than they have so far?
It's kind of hard to say. You have to give Georgia their props. They're definitely handling business. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They went into a hostile environment and quieted that crowd quickly. And from that, 5-minute mark of the first quarter, you knew game was over pretty much after that pick. They're doing what they need to do, and the main thing, I'm not sure how much of a test. You had mentioned Florida. They're still an up and down team. We kind of saw them struggle yesterday mightily, so I don't know if that is the team that's really going to give them a test. But right now though, they're scary good. It's hard to say that anybody's really going to beat them at this point of the season, to be honest, just with how they've been dominating folks.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's hard to see anybody on that schedule beating them before a possible SEC
Yeah,
title game, and yeah, I just don't know when we're going to see, what they're
yeah,
really made of. But you
yeah.
got to give them
They've
their props. They're handling their business. That's all you can do. Beat the team in
exactly,
front of
and
you, right?
honestly, their game. Uh, Looking at something else, I mean, their win looks maybe a little bit better against Oregon because I mean, Oregon looked a lot different against BYU. Um, so I don't know if that means that much because, of course, it's not the same type of opponent, but they definitely looked much better there in their home win yesterday against the Cougars there. So might be that Georgia just that team.
Yeah, that's right. Like I said, they can only beat who they
Exactly.
play. Yeah, that Oregon. We'll move to them real quick. They had a big win at home over BYU. They kind of dominated them in a good day for the Pac-12. Washington also upset Michigan State, and they beat the hell out of them. Really, Michigan State tried to mount a little comeback late, but didn't really get anywhere close. I believe I saw it was the first time the Pac-12 has had 2 wins over ranked teams since like 2015 or
Yikes.
something. So good day
Definitely,
for them.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a shocking
kind of
stat,
is.
but good for the Pac-12, man.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was kind of a game that a lot of folks had circled though, is just to see what Washington was going to look like with their new coach and everything, and they handle business. Michigan State came into town and they did what they were supposed to do to, at this point, show that they're back with 3-0 on the season, much improved from last year from what we see. And then, then with that late nightcap, talking about the Pac-12, I mean, USC, that offense is something scary.
For sure, yeah. USC's offense, no joke. Lincoln Riley's got them humming, and just showing you they still had talent out there. They just were not taking
Exactly.
advantage of it in the past couple coaching regimes. All right, we'll move to the center of the country. The big news we missed last week: Scott Frost is gone from Nebraska. Did not work out for the old ex Husker QB, and they hired the first African American coach in not just the football team's history, but the entire athletic program's history, which was that. I saw
Yeah.
that. That was, woo, that's amazing. Uh, didn't really help them, though. They didn't get that new coach boost.
Oof.
Oklahoma did
Yeah.
Oklahoma things. Brent Venables in his first national showcase. Sooners just beat up Nebraska. They're looking real well. All right. So, who is the next Nebraska coach?
Well, being in Omaha, of course, their work and everything, that's the talk of the town. And there's a lot of people that really want to get the guy that's gonna get them back. And of course, a lot of talk about Urban Meyer. I don't know if that's if that's really a smart choice, but I mean that's what a lot of fans that want to win now kind of like there. But I don't know how, after everything that transpired with the Jaguars and all that, I don't know how likely that is to happen. But there's a good amount of people that like that move. There's also talk of Campbell from Iowa State. And you'd have to think at some point, if they keep winning, the Kansas coach might jump on their radar if he's not already there.
Yeah, Kansas. Yeah, they're putting it together a season. They're kind
They
of fun
are.
to watch
A lot of
from the
points.
little bit I've seen of them. I've seen Matt Campbell from Iowa State. Seen his name thrown out. Of course, how much of a step up is that even? I'm sure Nebraska's program has a little bit more resources
Right.
than Iowa State,
For
but
him, I don't.
he's made such a
Yeah,
solid program there in Ames that I don't know if you really want to
exactly.
leave it. Let's see. We already talked about Pac-12's good day. We'll move on. We'll stay sort of in that part of the country, move a little bit south. That Texas A&M Miami game, that uh, nightcap game, that was an ugly game to
Yeah,
watch, man. It was
it
rough on all
was.
sides. Nobody looked really that good. Miami had multiple chances to take it late, couldn't recover a muff punt late, muffed their own punt. Uh, Van Dyke, he's one of the top NFL QB prospects. He didn't look that great yesterday. A lot of the play calling was suspect. They had a lot of second, third, and longs, and they were throwing 5-yard slants. It was, man, that's one of the. I was really looking forward to that game, and it was just not fun to
Yeah,
watch.
definitely not what a lot of us probably thought coming into the season there. I mean, I thought before before we saw what A&M did look like against App State, I thought, well, this can be a firework game. We're going to have a high scoring game. It's going to be a lot of points. It's going to be a fun game. And, I guess, if anything, I guess it shows A&M's defense look good. They and we're down quite a few folks, and then lots even more folk with targeting and everything, and still able to pretty much contain that Miami offense. Look pretty pedestrian to what a lot of people thought they would, and yeah, Van Dyke, of course, as you said, a top NFL prospect, looked average at best last night. Not pretty at all. So both offenses have a lot of work to do, but I mean the Aggies back against the wall. I guess you can say they got the job done.
Yeah, they pulled out the win. A good win for them. Definitely a good win for Jimbo because he was.
Man, it'd be
If
a
he had
lot
lost
sad.
two
That would
straight
have
home
been
games,
terrible, man.
yeah, it'd been
Yeah,
rough for them. I mean, maybe not
yeah.
for
I mean,
him.
he has
He's
that
got that
guaranteed money,
guaranteed
but the
contract.
fan
So
base will definitely, how.
oh yeah, it would have been. We'll go to Florida's in-state rival, or excuse me, Miami's in-state rival, Florida. They struggled with South Florida
Thanks.
USF, who has just not been a good program in the past decade or so. They're certainly not that 2017 that somehow got the number two. The Bulls had a chance to win the game late and then just had one of the worst three-play sequences I've seen in a while. They had a bad snap on third down, lost about
Oh, that
15
was
yards, a
yeah.
shotgun snap. The center, just fastballed it past the quarterback's ankles. Then on the third down call, the coaches just a call that I hate. I tell you what, I think I made a tweet about it. If I'm an AD and we need a big game and my college coach calls a draw on third and long to play for a field goal with college kickers, I might fire him after the game. That's just some cowardly play calling, man. Like, I understand playing it safe. You trying to get some yards. Throw a
Do
slant. Do a
something.
screen
Yeah.
at least. Don't run a draw. Like, it
Yeah.
just did nothing. And then on
Oh
the
my!
field goal attempt, the holder dropped the ball. Feel bad for the kid. Kicker made a
He
hell of an
did.
effort, basically just kicking it flat off the ground and a couple feet wide. He had the distance and he had the height. Somehow he made it there. I'm the coach actually on the sideline thought it was
I saw
good.
that.
But man, that was a tough ending for the Bulls. But Florida, after that Utah win, now maybe some excitement going from Billy Napier's first team. Not looking as strong. Richardson struggled.
Yeah, definitely
yesterday.
struggled. And yeah, not what you kind of expected. You would. I mean, I'm sure Florida would have loved to have used that as a big rebound game after the tough loss the week prior to Kentucky. And yeah, they not. I don't think anybody really expected that. I mean, they were what, a 24-point favorite at home, and it was not what you wanted there. Yeah, Richardson, he definitely looked off. And the main thing with Florida is if the running game's working, why they continue to try to get away from it? I mean, their running game, they were moving folks. Just stick with the running game. It was working. I don't know why Florida kept trying to implement the pass when it wasn't there for them.
Yeah, that seemed like some offensive coordinators trying to
Trying to be
be
cute. Yeah.
getting in their heads that everybody wants to throw the ball
Yeah. But
nowadays.
I mean,
You got to go what's
yeah,
getting you there.
ETN was eating
Like
them
you
up.
said, they were running the ball well.
I mean,
Yeah,
geez.
yeah. But speaking of running the ball, the Nittany Lions of Penn
Oh
State
my goodness.
went down into the plains and ran all over, through, and around Auburn. Whooped them 41 to 12
Yeah.
final score.
Wow.
It was just not a pretty game if you were an Auburn fan. And you got to think two big things coming to that. Obvious one is Brian Harsin, who was already on the hot seat for, maybe not even things his own fault. They just, Auburn, they don't like to keep coaches around. it's got to be flaming nuclear hot now. So I got two questions for you. One, I'll do the first one first. Do you think that he survives the regular season?
Man, at this point, I think we'll know more after the LSU game. That's in 2 weeks there. It's another home game for Auburn. I think they start off the season with 5 straight home games. And if they get shellacked like that against LSU, that might be it, honestly. After how they looked yesterday and the improvements that I saw out of Missouri's offense, and they got the freshman out of East St. Louis involved in that offense and looked pretty good, they might be in for quite a test next weekend with Mizzou coming to town.
Yeah, for sure. That leads in the second part. So I'm going to read you mentioned Mizzou. I'll read you the rest of Auburn's schedule, and we're going to try to pick out where we think they actually have some wins in that. So they get Missouri at home next week, followed by LSU at home. Then they go on the road to Georgia, on the road to Ole Miss, home for Arkansas, on the road to Mississippi State, home for Texas A&M, home for Western Kentucky, and then in the season in Tuscaloosa for the Iron Bowl. I was talking with a couple friends yesterday. One of them said he didn't see but 2 more wins on that schedule. And I'm looking at it now, and I'm assuming that's Western Kentucky and maybe Missouri next week. But like you said, I don't know now, man.
It's not a gimme.
Where are their wins on that schedule?
It's not a gimme. Yeah. I would assume that Western Kentucky, yeah. If anything, I mean, they have to beat Mizzou. If they don't beat Mizzou, my goodness. But, yeah, and that's not a gimme game. But other than that, it's not looking good for them at all. I know they've beaten LSU the last 2 years in a row, but that team that we saw yesterday and the second half of it and that LSU's offense, yeah, that's not going to be pretty. It looked.
No. Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, I'm looking. I mean, obviously, as it stands, no way in hell they're beating Georgia right now.
In Georgia, in Athens, I don't know if they score.
No. Yeah, I don't know if they score. That might be I don't know what the record is in that series for biggest blowout, but Georgia might push it. And then they got to go to Oxford, and Lane Kiffin's offense, they were humming. They won, 42-0 yesterday against Georgia Tech?
Points.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, even if, those Lane Kiffin teams, sometimes they defense gets them in shootouts, but Auburn doesn't have the horses for a shootout with Ole Miss. Arkansas struggled a little bit yesterday with Missouri State. Old Bobby Petrino coming back to Fayetteville and trying to sneak one out, but they pulled away late, and maybe that's a wake-up call for them. They're going to I don't see Auburn holding down that running game and scoring points on them. State, the Mike Leach offense.
I mean,
they had a tough loss.
There's always that possibility. Sometimes they do come out flat, but even then.
Yeah, you never know those. I mean, that's both the staple of a Mike Leach team and a Mississippi State. That's such a wild card team, and such a wild card coach, and now you never know, they're going to come out, drop 60 in the first half on you, or kind of like last night, just 16 points in the first half and nothing in the second half in Baton Rouge. And then let's see, A&M at home. A&M hasn't looked great, but you got to think there's a lot more talent for the Aggies and the Tigers. It is in Auburn, but
I think that game's going to really just depend on where they are at that point of the season. If Auburn's already lost, they've already got shellacked by Georgia. LSU's already taken them out. Ole Miss. I mean, at that point, the season's done and they don't have anything to play for.
Yeah. Then you got, Western Kentucky, and then, of course, the Iron Bowl in Tuscaloosa. Again, no reason to think that they could hang with Alabama offense, even if especially by then, you would think Alabama would iron out its issues, what they have, and no reason to think that they could score on Will Anderson, because he looked like he took every criticism of him from the Texas game personal and took it out on poor Louisiana Monroe yesterday.
Yeah, I mean it's a
But yeah, so
tough road.
tough road, yeah, for Tigers and Auburn fans out there. So we'll see where that goes. Not looking good for Brian
At
Harsin.
all.
It's one thing to lose to Penn State at home. It's another thing like they lost. It
I
just was
mean,
not pretty.
it's what 14-6 at the half. You thought, well, they're still in it. They kind of, had some missed opportunities in the first half, but they kept it close and the defense looked okay. Yeah, and they just the second half just opened the can on them. My goodness, like not pretty at all.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was not pretty. Well, let's see. Last thing I have, at least in my notes, we'll see if you have anything else from yesterday. Was of course that App State Hail Mary. They're calling it the Miracle on the Mountain Part
Part two,
Two.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, if you don't know number one, folks, it's look it up. It's crazy from like
they confirm it,
2002 or
right?
so when they were still 1AA, and Billy Napier, Florida's coach, was quarterback, drove them down. They took a 15-14 lead, went for two to get that 3-point lead. It was intercepted by a lineman who then lateraled it to a defensive back who took it back for the 2-point conversion to give App State the 16-15 lead. That was the first miracle on the mountain. Yesterday, the second one happened. Big 12.5-point favorite over Troy. Troy fought hard, took the lead. App State just could not get over the mountain, pun intended. And then they threw maybe the highest Hail Mary I've ever seen. Bryce, he threw that threw that ball sky high, man. Brought some rain down. It fell about what? About the
5 yard line. Yeah.
5 yard line. Got knocked back. The defensive backs tried to do their job and knock it down, but they just knocked it right into the hands of an App State receiver, and then they had the little like punt return wall just naturally set up from that, and he just was able to run around the corner into the end zone. Pandemonium ensues. The Mountaineers get a Hail Mary win. It's college football is great, and I tell you, that is a roller coaster team to watch.
I mean, you gotta. I mean, every week it's something fun with them. I mean, they almost would have 40 in that fourth quarter, week one. Came into College Station week two and completely dominated the Aggies in all aspects, even though the score didn't show it. I mean, it was pretty one-sided there. And then, yeah, that last 130 of the game yesterday, just from the time that they turned the ball over at the 5 yard line and then the safety, and then they got the ball back and looked terrible on the first 2 or 3 passes there. Yeah, the 500 foot in the air Hail Mary came down at the 5, didn't even make it to the end zone. That was crazy.
No. Like I said, it was a rainmaker, man. It was like
my goodness.
I don't know if it slipped or if he meant to throw it that high. Hell, maybe that was their designed Hail Mary play, like
maybe it was.
Throw it up high, have one guy back to catch, a batted ball. And, hey, got them the W over a Sunbelt rival. Yeah, that's going to be a team to watch because that's going to be something's interesting happening every game.
It's been fun.
You got anything else from yesterday?
Let me see. I mean, not a whole lot. I mean, well, I do. I like. We had talked a little bit about it earlier. Just Kansas being 3-0, and the funny thing is they're playing a 3-0 Duke team next week. Who would have thought Kansas Duke would be a big time football matchup for next week? So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I didn't know it was time for the Final Four.
Exactly. Kansas Duke, and then a lot of basketball blue bloods. North Carolina sitting at 3-0. Kentucky sitting at 3-0. So interesting times.
Indeed, they are. It's been, like I said, it's been a great college football season so far. It's always a thing about it, man. Next thing we know, it'll be championship weekend, and we'll miss it again for a few months.
Gotta enjoy it while
it's here. On that note, we'll move in. We'll start doing this probably weekly here. We'll get some power rankings going. We'll do top 10 for us, college football power rankings. How do you want to do this, Greg? You want to count down from 10 or you want to start with the number
let's make it dramatic. Let's start at the 10 spot.
Number 10. All right. Who you got number 10?
Right now, I got Kentucky.
Kentucky. All right, I like it. I counter with Oklahoma
Oklahoma
State. I
State.
got them. They're winning their game so far. Nothing spectacular, but looking good. Number 9, I got Arkansas. Slipped down a little after yesterday's struggle. How about you?
Well, I got Okie State at 9. When I originally did my thing, yeah, I had Arkansas at 9 until they lost, until that almost lost. I mean, I guess the top FCS team, but yeah, kind of moved out of my top 10 after that.
Yeah, for sure. You got to hit points. Caught them by surprise, but and then just to, like you said, top FCS team, and to give them credit, there's a lot of talk about them possibly making a jump up to the top
Right.
level within the next few seasons. So that's not a it's not a bad program by any means, but yeah, Arkansas SEC team should be comfortably beating them at least a little better than that. All right, we got number 8. What you got?
I got Clemson number 8. It's been nothing pretty, but
Clemson.
there's still sitting undefeated and winning games. So
Yep. I got the Wildcats, Kentucky, number
nice.
8. They have that win down in the swamp, and they're humming along, looking good. Their offense is looking better than it has in a few seasons. They're a strong defense. That's a good program there.
Yeah, I got the
Stoops has
shutout
got
win
them
yesterday,
rolling.
didn't they? Like what, 31-0?
Yeah, good
Impressive.
team. I got Clemson myself at number 7 there. How about
I
you?
got USC at 7.
Okay. So yeah, we're running kind of similar
Similar.
because I got SC at
Okay.
6. What you got at
I got
6?
OU at. Oh, excuse me. I got Michigan at 6.
Michigan. Okay, yeah. Big win over UConn yesterday. I believe I saw it the first time, maybe program history, or at least since like World War eras, that they have scored at least 55
Yeah,
points in their
I
first 3
think it was
games.
programmed, which is kind of crazy to think about, but but all the years of Michigan football. But yeah, they've started off with a very, very tough schedule. But anyway, I mean, they're handling business, putting up points, so can't fault
Mhm.
them.
Yeah, exactly. And getting them figuring out who they want to be their
Exactly.
quarterback. All right, that was your number
Yep.
6, right? You got 5.
5, I have the Sooners.
All right, Boomer Sooner. Yeah, we mentioned their big win over
That
Nebraska.
defense is
I have the
nasty.
Wolverines at number 5. Who you got number 4?
4, since week 1, they bounced back a lot offensively. I got Ohio State.
Okay, here's where we start to switch things up a little bit more. I got Alabama actually at number 4. Just because that the offense isn't quite clicking yet. I just, I have no doubt it will, but for right now, it's basically Bryce and Gibbs and not really a little bit of Latu, the tight end showing out, but not a lot of. He had a nice catch
Yeah.
yesterday, but until another playmaker, till that deep threat emerges, I'm going to hold back on them. I have Sooners at number 3. Yeah, like we said, not the greatest schedule, but they are just hurting people
They
right
are.
now. Who's your third team?
Well, I got Bam. Well, I got Bama at 3 there. So kind of the thing. We can be as great as we want to be, but still a lot of questions especially on that offensive side, and it's just a matter of putting it all together. But until we see October, we just kind of are who we are, I think.
Oh, sorry, I got distracted right here. Lamar Jackson going on a
I
long
saw that.
touchdown run, 79
Whew.
yards. Woo! All right. Let's see. That was number 3. Number 2, I have the Buckeyes there. I think I said in our preview episode, I think they might be the most talented team overall in the country. They struggled early against Notre
Mm-hmm.
Dame, kind of turned it on in the second half of that one, and they've been cruising ever since. Who's your number 2?
Number 2. Did I not do that? I don't know if I did this thing right. Because for whatever reason, I don't have anybody at my number 2.
Uh-oh.
Jeez.
We'll skip to your number
Of
1.
course, number 1 is I got Georgia. Number 1.
Yep.
So I guess that would move up Bama to 2, Ohio State to 3, and then I'll throw in Arkansas at 10. Originally had Kentucky, so everybody moves up a slot for me then. That's what I did.
All right,
Yep.
there you go. Nice, everybody bump up a spot. Yeah,
I
Georgia's
mean,
number one on mine too. That's
there's
just they're
no
the
questions.
champs. They're playing like the
Yeah,
champs. Yeah, until someone even slightly challenges them, there's no reason not to put them there.
exactly.
That does it for a college talk this week. We'll move on. We'll do some NFL power rankings too, and we'll use that to talk about it. We got a top 8 for the NFL, the top quarter of the league. I'll start it off. Number 8, I have the Saints. I will say with my rankings, I did everybody. Again, this is based on mostly week 1 results, a little bit of maybe Thursday night Chiefs-Chargers games. I got only teams that won last week. It's a power ranking. Yeah, sure. So I got the Saints, ugly win, but they came from behind, looked good in the second half to beat the rival Falcons. Michael Thomas announced his presence, coming back with 2 touchdowns. How about you? Number 8.
8. I have Philly at 8. They got up quite the big lead there, and then led Detroit kind of back into the game. Probably have them higher there, but I thought for the most part they look how they were like people expected the Eagles to look.
Sure. How about your number 7?
7. I have the Saints at 7 there. That second half they looked how I expected them to look. I was kind of probably should have never been down like how they are, and the poor Falcons. I mean, they're being that survival, and that's going to be another joke for the Saints fans forever.
Oh, yeah, and they will absolutely. Someone who lived in New Orleans for, 8 years, any chance they get to troll Falcons fans, they take. You learn to appreciate it, man. My number 7 was the Dolphins. I have a feeling that'll change next week. The Ravens are currently housing them. But they did their job. Their defense looked good last week, and Tua didn't look great, but he looked good enough. And I think he's going to do something with his weapons. They did have a big play to Waddle today.
I saw that
in a long drive too. But like I said, that probably changed next week unless they mount some big comeback. I'll move down. I'll go with number 6. I had the Vikings of Minnesota. They had the big win over Green Bay last week. How about you?
Well, even because I had them higher to start the season, it wasn't a pretty win, but 19-0 win over the Cowboys last week. I mean, just because they're the Bucks. They, of course, Brady a little banged up this week, and a tight 3-3 game right now with the Saints. But I think that they're just gonna get in the groove of things. I think they're just a little lackluster as far as their in-game prep with Brady missing time. But I got them at 6 too.
Yeah, for sure. How about your number 5?
5, and but this will definitely change. But I had the Dolphins at 5, and that's not looking nearly the team that they were last week. But it was impressive week 1 there over the Patriots. So. But yeah, this week has definitely been a struggle. I thought maybe that they'd give the Ravens a game. Kind of disappointed as far as that aspect. But.
Yeah, it definitely seems like maybe the Ravens remembered last year's
for sure.
game where the Dolphins defense just blitzed the hell out of them.
Seemed to have picked up on that.
Took it. My number 5 was the Chargers. Probably would have had them a little higher, but like I said, they did lose Thursday night to the Chiefs. I took that into account, and then Justin Herbert getting that rib injury. Not going to know really how that affects him going forward until we see it. That could be big. Quarterback with a rib injury. That's tough for them. So we'll go I'll move down to my number 4. That's where I had the Ravens. They looked good last week. Big win over the Jets. Lamar threw 3 touchdowns. They're looking good again today. Defense is looking sharp. Again, it's kind of one of those things. The Jets might be the worst team in the league, and we don't really know what we got out of the Dolphins yet, but they won big, and they're winning big again. So how about your number 4?
Yeah, I had the Ravens at 4. Just as you said, I mean, they've done what they're supposed to do, blown folks out. Can't ask for more. They're looking good. And like I said, if they stay healthy. They're a scary team.
Yep. How about your number 3?
3, I had the Vikings. They just they went in and dominated last week against the Packers. Handle business there. Big game this week against the Eagles. Kind of give us, I guess, more better idea because yeah, but they look really good to me week 1 there. So I had them at 3.
All right, I have the Bucks at 3. Like you said, it wasn't pretty last week, and they're struggling right now. But it's Tom Brady, and it's just one of those things that like some of those teams just know how to win, and until they give me a reason not to, I'll have them up high there. My number 2 is the Chiefs. Like I said, they got that big win on Thursday. They'll come from behind. Did it with a little defense too. It's Pat Mahomes, Andy Reid offense. Hey, number 2. How about your number 2?
Number 2, just because they only played one game, I put Buffalo at 2. Because the Chiefs are 2-0, but so I guess it kind of tells you who my number 1 is. But anyway, the Bills. I mean, they lived up to the hype week 1. Embarrassed the Rams there on their Super Bowl ring night, and I would think probably gonna, based off week 1, probably gonna have quite the same performance. The Titans look pretty bad week 1, and that's not a team that you want to see play the Bills right now.
Sure, and of course, like you said, that means the Chiefs are your number 1. Got anything to say on them?
Well, it wasn't pretty, but they handle business. A lot of people are high on the Chargers this year, and they came out on top. So that's why I put them at that number 1 spot.
All right, for sure. Well, then my number 1, as y'all can guess, is the Bills because of their week 1 win over the defending champs. Just how strong it was, it was tie or at least a close game at halftime. They came out the second half and just dominated. Josh Allen looked great. Stephon Diggs. Just looks like they got the full complement on offense, and that defense stepped up.
Yeah, they seemed to got a lot better with rushing. It was like everybody followed Von Miller's lead there, and man, that defense looks way better than what they did at times last year.
For sure. And if they can add a running game from someone else other than Josh Allen, that really opens up a lot for that team. Well, all right, let's move on from the NFL. We'll end today's last topic. We'll talk a little bit of baseball. It's September. We're getting down to the end of the season. A couple races for the playoffs. Most of them are just about decided. The Mets and Braves are in a kind of a classic pennant race. They keep within 1.5 games of each other, trading wins. They both kind of slumped earlier this week. Neither one was able to really take a hold. It's crazy. The Mets took that 4 of 5 in the first week of August and built up a 7.5 game lead, and the Braves have stormed back and
took the lead. And
it's going to be an exciting finish. They play 3 more in Atlanta, the second to last series of the year, so that'll be fun to watch. We got a couple of wild card races, and the NL 3 teams are battling for 2 spots with Philly, San Diego, and Milwaukee. The AL wildcard race, there's a little bit more distance. The Orioles and White Sox are chasing. Let's see, I think Toronto and Tampa Bay. So one of them, they need to go on a run and have a little help from those teams above them. Looks like the Dodgers, they're running away with the best record. They're
already at 100.
56 games. 56 games above 500 right now. That's ridiculous. So let's see. I'll ask you a couple questions here. First, are the Dodgers a runaway favorite just right now? Is that what we got to say?
I would probably. You would have to say so. They've been so dominant. They've brought in a lot of people in the off season, but they done what they're supposed to do there, and it looks like wire to wire. But definitely the Braves and Mets will give them a challenge there. But yeah, for right now anyway, Dodgers definitely looking like the team to beat there in the National League.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Houston has the best record in the AL. I think they're at 95 wins right now. So that's we could get another
100.
LA, Houston World
Yeah.
Series. It could get another Atlanta, Houston World Series. Maybe the Mets make it back because the Mets, when Scherzer's a little hurt. Their pitching's starting to wear down a little bit, but if they can
If
get
they're
that complement of
healthy,
that
my
rotation, that's
goodness.
scary in the offseason or the
Right.
postseason.
Yeah, Mets team is good when they're healthy.
Yeah, it's a good team. It's a clutch team too. They pull out wins.
They do.
That'll be fun. Yeah, that fun to watch to see what two teams get into the NLCS. And see how that goes. We should have some exciting baseball on that side and the senior circuit, as they say. We'll go to the AL East. The Yankees. Aaron Judge is, chasing history. He's having just an amazing monster season.
58 today.
Yeah, man just does not stop hitting, but they're still struggling to put away the division. It looked like they would run away with it earlier in the season. They had that awful August, haven't improved much. Their lead's down to like four and a half games.
Toronto, yeah.
Yeah, are they going to hold on, or are they going to blow it?
Yeah, I think they hold on barely, but I think they'll do just enough to win the division there. If they really wish the season had ended after the All-Star break, but they were really going there and made the questionable trade, sending a number 2 to St. Louis, and it's been tough sledding ever since.
Yeah, it's something to watch right there. Toronto has been kind of hot, but yeah, they would need the Yankees to really slump again. I agree with you. I think they'll hold on. Mainly, Aaron Judge just might make them hold on.
What he's doing this year, definitely get above at least 61 there, break Roger Maris to 61 there, and then the rest is up for debate there because it's a lot of purists and everything who still have Roger Maris as the all-time single season home run leader there. So
yeah, it's chasing another bit of history, chasing Albert Pujols, getting close to 700 career home runs. Just amazing what he's doing this year, man. Because past couple seasons he looked kind of washed, and
I guess coming.
He's not hitting 60, but he might get up to 700, and but it would be only the fourth player ever with 700.
Yep, it'd be fourth. Yeah, I mean, it's quite
rooting for him. I'm not a Cardinals fan by any chance, but by any stretch.
It's a Braves
definitely rooting for Pujols to get 700.
Yeah, I mean, it's been quite the career, and definitely a resurgence there. Going back to St. Louis, definitely brought something back to him there that wasn't there, and when he was an Angel there. So it's good. You can see the old man still putting up solid season there. I mean, what is it, 698, I think, right now?
Yeah, still sitting on 698. He was about 3 feet shy, 699 the other night.
They were going crazy the other night. They thought he had it. Went to the wall.
Yeah, for sure. He was so close. I think he'll get it. We got, half a month left?
Yeah,
2 home runs. I think he gets it. Probably.
I
don't know if he's going to retire after this season, but he might. That's a hell of a way to go out with 700.
For sure.
All right, you got anything else from the world of sports you want to touch on?
And it's just been such a fun football season so far. I mean, just with almost nothing is guaranteed. I mean, it's just been craziness every Saturday so far, and just from the betting side, man, it's been crazy.
Oh yeah, there's been some beats for sure, both good and bad.
Right.
Like you said. All right, then we'll move on. What is done up real good for you this week?
Done up this week, really enjoyed college football yesterday. I mean, it was maybe not the sexiest schedule in the world, but man, it definitely lived up to maybe even as, if not better than week 2 there. So, man, I really enjoyed it. What about you?
For me, let's see. I'll go a little bit sentimental this week. I'll give a shout out to the great doctors at UAB. Little wee baby Wood trying to come out a little bit earlier than we wanted to. Wow. And the doctors are doing their best to take care of him and take care of mama.
Nice.
So I just want to say they're done up real good.
All right.
World-class nurse and doctors right there
Awesome.
taking care of my wife and the wee baby Wood, as we're calling him right now because we can't decide on a name. But yeah, so hopefully he stays in a little bit longer. They've given us some benchmarks they want to hit, and we want to hit those too.
He wants to see football season this year.
Yeah, that's what he's just so excited, man. He wants to get out and see this football. You know, his original due was the week after the SEC championship. He's like, "No, Dad, man, I got to see some of this, man.
He wants
I got
to
to roll
see
tide."
That's funny.
I can't blame him for that. But all right then, buddy. Until next week, y'all. We will see you,
All right.
Greg. Have a good one, man.
You too, buddy.